Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first order of business is, well, the second order of business is we got to vote in a chairperson because you obviously won the election, so same board, but.
I make a motion to vote Dave as chairperson.
Second.
Okay, in favor,
Aye.
and so be it.
You win.
Thank you.
It's gonna be like Frank Sinatra, just the chairman of the board all the time.
Okay, so we got to review the minutes. Okay, so we get some public minutes. Let's do those first. We're going to be looking for a motion to approve those minutes of March 5th, please.
Non-public, please.
She's on for public first.
Okay. Motion to approve minutes dated March 5th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we get the non-public minutes. You can make a motion on that. Yeah.
Motion to approve non-public meeting minutes dated March 5th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so both copies will be here. Okay, so that's done. Chief, that brings you up to the plate.
Okay, not too many things this month, been pretty good. So first thing is April 27th, we're having that, the next round take back from 10 to 2. So people can drop off their,
Another Saturday, I think.
Yep, prescription stuff on that Saturday between 10 and 2. Well, you can drop it up at any time before that as well, when we're open.
It's always in the lobby.
Yep. The tri-board meeting, I received some communications from the town administrator that it was supposed to be April 11th, or he was checking with the library to see if it was going to be April 11th. He has not gotten back to me. We'll reach out to him sometime this week, but I've not heard anything further about that.
That meeting I won't forget, I can tell you that.
So it might be the 11th, it might not, but I'll.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We just did our monthly training the other day. It was taser recertification and less lethal training, which was like a beanbag shotgun. That went pretty well. Everybody did okay with that. And the next training after that is for next month is if we get our firearms in, like it'll be the part-time officers certified with the new pistols.
Okay.
So that's what we got coming up for training. We're also, when the spring starts here, we're going to start back our community program called the Stroller Patrol. We walk with the Parks and Rec department and some seniors, do some walking stuff. We go once a month, maybe every week or whatever. They have like a walking club, and we send officers down there once a month. So that'll start May 20th.
Yep.
Officer Gardner is in Milo, the canine, have started the drug school, and that'll run through June. I think it was the second week of June. So all of April and May and into June. What else? The whole school thing going on, ABS, we've been sending a duty officer to the meetings. We'll probably continue to do that for the next month or two until it quiets down, just so you guys know. So
Probably a good idea.
If you see an officer there, that's what's going on.
Somebody could lose their temper,
Yeah, it
Spur of
just
the
keeps
moment.
people, they keep it organized, and there was a lot of cars there for the last one, so. Keep people-
I know.
The Eclipse thing is the town's having an event at the library from 2 to 4, so we'll have an officer down there as well. And I guess school's having half a day.
Yes, they're getting out early.
So they're thinking some of the kids might hang around and go over to do that. So there'll be a lot of kids up and down the Hooksett Road area. So we'll have an officer over there as well. And I think that's about it for some stuff under the business, budget stuff, but that's it.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief? Thanks, Ray.
Alright.
Chip, your turn.
Like the chief says, pretty quiet, but March we had 853 calls for service, 8 arrests, and the arrests were then mostly motor vehicle. One of the officers had been really hitting the kids with possession of vape. You have to be 21 to have a vape now. So a lot of the 18, 19, 20-year-olds think it's okay, but Officer Gardner tells them otherwise. But couple possession of drugs. 21 reports generated. Again, it's, juvenile offenses, neighbor disputes, that sort of thing. And 210 car stops. And that was it. pretty quiet.
Well, always is at this time of year, as a rule.
It'll start to ramp up a little, the warm weather
As
comes, you
soon
know.
as the weather comes and all the trails and the bike trails and
Yep.
hiking trails, there'll be people parking all over the place. All right, anything else, Chip?
Nope, that would be all.
Any questions for Chip at all? Okay. Steve, that brings you up. How are you?
Not bad. Doing well, I guess.
Are you, Melissa, narrowing the scope of the project?
Yes, we have. Actually, Melissa came up with I guess it's an application that's being used throughout other neighborhood watches throughout the country, and it's called Next Door, and I haven't had a chance to really log into it yet. And I think she's going to try to play around with it, and then she's going to give me, I guess I have to get permission to log in for it, and then I'll play around with it and see how it works. But evidently, it works out pretty good where you can it'll send out text messages to all the people in the neighborhood watch group and emergency type situations.
Oh, it's a vehicle to
And
send
it also
messages.
sends notifications, but it's also like a social networking type of a thing where you can post things, but it also limits what you can post too at the same time. So I was just doing a little bit of reading on it, and it looks like a pretty good deal. So kind of looking forward to seeing how it works. I think the only limitations you have on the text is you get like 110, or whatever.
Characters.
Yeah, characters.
Oh, and a message.
Yeah, so you're gonna kind of limit when you send out messages, what type of messages you send out, and get a point across or something like that. But
Yeah.
I think it's something. I think it's promising. So
Yeah. Melissa seemed pretty happy with the thing.
Yeah.
That we'll be able to reach the whole group in one shot.
Mhm.
We won't have to pay a subscription.
No, if that could ever happen, that'd be great. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to limit the text. I mean, you just have to be,
Well, she can still post like a message, I think, on our, on the neighborhood watch site or something, and say, hey, this is what we're posting, go check the message, something like that.
Right.
It's easy enough, right?
Yeah.
So, and that way you still get the
Mhm.
information out to everybody in one kind of shot.
and you can still we could even follow it up with the email system too,
Exactly.
with sending out additional information.
Yeah.
But getting the initial notifications out, itd be instantaneous, a lot faster.
Oh,
I think it's a pretty good deal. So I'm anxious to see how she likes. I don't know. She texted me or emailed me a few days ago, said she was gonna start playing around with it. I haven't.
Yeah, she did. She signed us up,
Feedback.
signed the town up for it,
Yeah.
got all the permission. She said she'll get with Steve.
yeah.
But it's used throughout the country, and from what I was reading about it, got some pretty good reviews
I
on
was
it.
gonna say, yeah, it's got great reviews. It's like 1.6 million
Yeah.
of them. So
Yeah,
it's
so this is what the National Neighborhood Watch groups have changed to, is this
Yeah.
format. So it's probably
Right.
the reason for it,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's very good.
definitely don't have to worry about emails.
Boy, if that works out, that'd be great.
Up and running by summertime, and that'll be all right.
Yeah. That was always the issue. How could you communicate with everybody at once, just one message?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Fantastic. Any questions for Steve? Well, anything else, Steve? Or
No.
that's enough. That's a good,
That's a good one.
That was a biggie for me.
yeah, that's
so-
a big one.
so I was
So
really
if she
happy to
likes
see
it, then that'll be terrific.
Yeah, I was getting kind of nervous we're gonna be able to come up with something, but this looks very promising, so.
Oh, great. Thank you, Steve. Okay, you wanna look at the 2024 budget, how we're doing here?
Yep.
Take a peek at that. You changed the format again on the,
back to GL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what actually gets inputted, the other one is something I created just until they put the budget in.
oh,
You know,
okay.
the town has actually put the numbers into the budget, because we had the town meeting,
Oh, yeah, right. So let me see, so we're 1/4 of the year, so we're gonna say about 25%, so anything over 25,
Nothing too crazy.
no, nothing at all. Well, the only one is police subscriptions, and I just like that every year, because they always have to send the money in and like early into the budget season.
You should see the cruiser line one jump up as well eventually, not yet, but we received both cars already. One that we paid for last year, the town had paid for.
Yeah,
And then we got the one
out of this year's
out of
budget.
this year's budget. You should see that in a lot of the setup costs that's going on right now.
Yeah, so one car we're setting up,
We're setting up one car, the other car
beyond mark.
is unmarked, and then the old unmarked is gonna become the K-9 car.
Okay,
But
good.
all the equipment fits in, fits.
Yeah,
The first bill they said was
so overall,
We're doing well. Like I said, the big thing is right now we're gonna have some kind of shuffling around with the cars, because it's like when you have to take all the equipment out, change to another car, both cars are down. So that will cause a little bit of a ripple in our operations while that gets done, but it'll be done in a month or so.
yeah,
The payroll is tight, way tighter than it used to be. And again, this is again a new thing for us. We'll have to see. I think the payroll is probably gonna go a smidge over because the raises haven't taken effect yet for people during the year.
mhm,
It's like sergeants especially, that kind of stuff, and patrol officers, right? They're right on the money right now, but that's not counting in once they get a raise, you're paying them more,
mhm.
right? Right? So it's,
Then you gotta look at how much overtime. Last year, we had a lot of overtime in the summer because you had two people that were out.
Yeah.
So today, maybe this year, but you know, you never know. It seems that every year you know.
every year somebody's out.
So, yeah,
It's always something.
so you can't say, oh, we're definitely gonna save there.
No.
It's way too early to be able to.
So it's a little bit tighter. We're working with Mimi on it to maybe modify how we did it, where it's not split 6 months and 6 months, maybe it's split 3 months and 9 months, or just all 12 months at the higher rate. So that way there's 5% turn back into just the payroll kind of thing. But we're working on that to kind of keep an eye on it. The overtime, we seem to be pretty good, right on the money.
Yeah, oh, there's a line for that too, huh?
Yeah.
Right there. Oh, the 18%, so that's good.
So that's been all right, but again, usually the summertime, people use more time off, right? So you end up using more.
That's right.
So we'll keep an eye on the stuff, but there's nothing crazy that's jumping out.
Okay. Yeah, we're good with that, 23.52%. With that. Anything else on the budget you wanna mention? Before we move on to another,
22%.
so we all set with the budget?
All set.
Oh, okay, I was, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now the next thing is, like I told you both before the meeting started, I wanted to have just a demonstration of, I know we approved the cameras a couple of years ago, the body cams, and we never had, see what it looks like. So, I said, let's do it.
So we had the cameras for a few years now, a couple of years. It's been put out by a company called Axis. If you go, not Axon, the taser people, but Axis. So if you go to a lot of banks and stuff, you'll see their products like in the windows and stuff looking at you. Their body cam's a body cam. They all basically do the same thing. Some have different features than others. I think the big deal is our little station we have set up here. We had the option of going on the cloud with our storage through Microsoft Azure, but we wanted to keep it in-house because it's easier for you to control it if you have it.
Mhm.
So we have a 64 terabyte server. So what happens is when the guys come off the road or whatever, they take their cameras and they dock them in the docking station right outside the sergeant's office. So while that's happening, the camera's doing two things. It's charging the battery up and it's downloading whatever footage. is
All
on
the
camera.
footage.
So it goes through the wires, it's all wired in, and it ends up going, there's a little conduit box in the back. And so it stores it all on the server so we can access it. So if I wanna look and see what the guys have done, there's a little icon here, so it pulls it up.
I like the way that magnetically, fits on your.
I had a
I mean,
piece
no
of steel
clip or
surgically
nothing, that's
implanted in my
nice.
chest, 'cause I'm wearing a vest, so it works pretty good.
Yeah, No, but no clip or anything to worry about.
Some of the guys who have clips, if they have the external carriers,
Do have clips.
they do have
You
little clips
different,
that stick
there's
on.
different mounting
Oh.
options.
So it's like
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good.
Yeah, dude.
So let's see. So the other night, the company wanted us to forward to them some footage of an arrest or something because they set up a beta test camera for us to try out and see how it's going. So they wanted some footage from that to show, but we can't send them footage of people because it's against state law. So I went out and made up one with Officer Goulet.
Oh, so he stopped you.
Yeah.
So it works out pretty good.
So we're using that,
Hey,
that demo.
you wanna watch it, you can come up and watch it, okay?
So all the guys, you'll see all the
Pull up a chair, pull up next to your dad.
You see all the waterworks guys, all of our people, they all have their own camera assigned to them, which is good.
Oh, the waterworks too?
Yes.
They bought into our program.
So everybody's assigned, all full-time officers are assigned their own camera, so that identifies them when they turn that camera on. The part-timers share too.
Yeah,
So they but we know what part-timer was on shift based on the date and time, right? There's only-
Now, are those our cameras waterworks has, or did
No,
waterworks,
they purchased their own.
they purchased their own?
But they-
But are they the same compatible?
Same exact cameras. So they just come in every now and then and load them up
Yep.
and download their footage.
Wow.
It's got a USB-C connector on the bottom, so guys go home, they can use their phone chargers and charge it up.
Fantastic.
Each person's got their own, so if I want to see what Sergeant Cashman did, I just highlight his name, I hit the little camera symbol, and I can see all his footage for the last 6 months. We have a 6 months retention period, so you can get rid of it no sooner than 3 months, but no later than 6 months. So I took the 6 month option just because it seemed like prosecution wasn't keeping pace with our quick delete. So now, within 6 months, pretty sure someone will come forward or Lonnie will let me know, hey, do you happen to have this footage from February? Sure, I do. I got it. Before it was dropping off too fast. And
Yeah, so
losing some
you got the full 6 months.
and I save every arrest. So I make up a special folder, I'm not sure in a different part of the system, make up a special folder with the defendant's name, and I transfer what you see here to that folder. So that way it's a Windows media format, so when they go to.
But anything to do with that person, you put it in a file.
Yep.
Any video at all.
Any video having to do it.
And how long do we save arrest for? Is it 3 years? Or?
No, well, we save, so 3 years is if it's a deadly force
Forgot about
situation.
this, Steve.
A lot of people would like it.
I've got a video of your house right here. So it's 3 years if there's a use of force that results in a death, use of a firearm, and I think there's definitely another one, I just can't remember what it is.
But they're not all felonies, just certain felonies.
Just certain ones.
Certain ones, yeah.
It's not subject to right to know, so somebody out in the street can't say, hey, I wanna see what Sergeant Cashman did 2 Thursdays ago at 8 o'clock. It's not.
No, it's not for that.
It's not for that, because
No.
you'd have to hire somebody to take care of that all the time. So I can see what Sergeant Cashman did all the way from October 8th, all the way up until yesterday, the day before.
Well,
So-
yeah.
So, and that's everybody, so that's, get a good cross-section of all the activity, but this is the one we made.
So there's certain guidelines as well. You don't just turn the thing on at somebody's house kind of deal. You have to tell them they're being recorded, and if they have some privacy things going, you
Oh,
can't.
when you enter a residence.
Exactly, unless you're going to make an arrest, then you can turn it on. So there's different guidelines, and we have a training, a policy on when you to turn it on and not turn it on.
So when no kidding.
You
Yeah, it's
can't
not
run it
pretty
at the
well.
school unless you're there for a call for service, so you can't show up to school.
Oh, so you gotta remember that, when you gotta shut it off.
Right.
Well,
Or not turn it on, because typically
normally
it's off all the time.
So when you're just driving
oh,
around.
it's off all the time.
Yeah.
So then when you get out of the car, that's when you press
That's
it.
when you turn it on.
Does it have it goes back 30 seconds?
Yeah, it's got the buffer.
Buffer, yeah.
So you can set that 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 15 seconds. We have a 30-second buffer. So it gives you time to.
So if something happens and then you just turn it on, you got that. As long as you did it, fairly quickly. If
Not the
something
audio.
was going on,
No,
you have that video.
No audio.
Is everybody happy with them? Most of the officers are?
All the officers like them. I don't know any officer here that doesn't like them.
Yeah, well, I would think that they'd say, hey, it shows what really happened if there's a dispute.
I've heard the guys like, thank God we have these, because, I mean, the way the environment is today, I mean, it just, you have to prove your own innocence if somebody makes a false accusation.
Yeah, that helps both ways. It helps in making a solid case, and it helps in vindicating an officer if he's wrongly accused.
That's true too, the picture says, speaks
The
a
same
thousand
thing.
words.
The judge likes them,
Yeah.
for evidence, you know, for prosecution, that kind of stuff, and, it eliminates some just crazy
That's-
theories that you always get from
That's
the.
a whole other part of it that we didn't even think about when we told you to get them.
So here's what Ryan and I did the other night. So we did unlock DWI.
Yeah.
This has got little integrated speakers in the monitor. They're not awesome.
Yeah. Very clear.
It is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I think we know that guy.
Arrest him.
Oh, you know why you can't hear it? 'Cause the speakers are in the other room. So
It's
anyway,
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
there's some pretty good one-liners in there.
How much have you had to drink tonight, sir?
Did you have to come out for a test? Why didn't bring a number 2 pencil? So, but it gets the point across for the company too, because you can see like I'm purposely trying to sway. So cameras are picking up all of that.
Did we end up doing the thing with the change, where if you turn yours on?
We turned it off, but it's available to be turned on. So if I'm going to a scene and I put my camera on and the chief shows up, you know, within 5 or 10 minutes, his will automatically pop on. Just they'll communicate with each other, just so you don't forget.
Wow,
Yeah.
they get in the haste of things.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to back you up and, oh,
Right.
you get up, who's thinking of the camera to put
It
it
has
on?
a fall turn on, if you fall down quickly, it'll turn on.
Yeah.
Uh, what else is it, GPS, right?
Yeah, GPS
That's
is.
Gee, so if you fell in the woods somewhere and.
Nobody would
Well,
know.
we can't find it, we can't
No,
find it
but
remotely,
GPS.
but that's for if someone says, you know, this cop drove off of me, beat me up in the woods, whatever the story is.
Oh,
We know that didn't happen based on where the camera.
that's, boy, I tell you. They had to think a lot of stuff they had to put in that little camera
Yeah, it's
to make it hold up in court. Oh.
So this again, it's got. You'll notice the ethereal glow around me.
You're not doing the Irish jig. There was one on TV caught. They stopped the girl for D when she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
They said, "Hey, walk a straight line," and she do.
That's not something
Irish
she wants to see
jig.
on court day. But so Officer Goulet's got some experience with this, so he's trying to make sure that you can see my feet and all that.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't faking too much. It was an uneven surface. It was
Yeah.
doing.
So if this was a real arrest going on or a real test, this is what we'd see.
Right.
But that's what you would see, old Lonnie.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice job.
That's pretty good.
So when it's an arrest, you leave it on, once you arrested the person, you've had it on before, because you were in contact with them in a
Yeah.
public place, right? You leave it on the entire time. So driving them in, drive in the booking room.
Driving in the car,
Until they leave the building.
because it records sound as
And they'll
well.
start saying all kinds of stuff.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. This is the point where you beat them up or something. It's like, oh, the booking camera shows that.
Yeah.
So let's say I was downloading this to.
Boy, it's very clear.
Yeah, it's not bad.
For nighttime.
It's got pretty good low light capabilities. So we'll put a stopper on this one. So then we'll go. So when I make, so this is the 2024 arrest. As you can see, we have quite a few. So each defendant gets their own folder. Let's say it's just something of interest, but it's not an arrest. I have a separate folder for that, just in case somebody wants me. Hey, this seemed a little hinky. Can you save this for a while? Sure.
Mhm.
And in 6 months, we'll get rid of it.
We have other ones where we assist other PDs. We'll save them as well. We assisted an arrest over there. You know, it's not our arrest kind of thing.
So it works both ways too.
Exactly.
I mean, you could be calling somebody for one of their
Exactly.
tapes.
Right, Candia has.
Oh, we do all the time.
Oh, especially Candia.
So when I download it and then we replay it on a Windows format, this is the same exact thing, but this is the view that you get. So not too different than what the organic one for the camera was. There's the sound. Okay. So looks pretty good. Like it's a double-edged sword. So if you get a DWI that might be a little iffy, they're not going to display a lot of the classic signs. So that's why your report has to articulate exactly what it was you were seeing and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're trying to establish probable cause.
Right. Yeah, that's about it.
It's pretty standard now for defense attorneys automatically ask for the video. They assume this video now, pretty much, right? Every discovery request we get includes the video.
So you don't have any way of observing the vehicle on video, you know, if it's weaving or?
No, we don't have like the dash cams. We have some of the guys that they've become involved in, in pursuits will turn on their things. At least you hear the radio traffic and you can see the dash.
A little bit, it
A little
depends
bit.
how, where his
No.
camera is.
We don't.
So, yeah. You want a little peanuts in there, then just the steering wheel.
Yeah. So we've debated over the dash cam things, but we're thinking for the expense that you're paying, I don't know. And I don't want the officers thinking we're surveilling them 24/7. You know, because some of these systems you can turn these on, you can watch it remotely. The chief or the administrator can, without telling the officer you're watching the video, and that's just not. I think we're going down the road we're going down.
Yeah.
We're using it for evidence and for officer protection kind of.
That'd be different if we were in a high crime place where you need a cam.
To make sure the guy was taken care of.
Dash cam.
And that I think would be subject to right to know, because
Yes.
the specific exemption in 91A is body cams. Those aren't particularly body cams, so you'd run the risk of getting them all.
Subject to right to know. But you guys, isn't the end of the world, but, you could have, I just want to, if the cops drove by my house, I want to see that video,
Yeah,
kind of thing. So,
very nice presentation, appreciate it.
No problem.
yeah, and they've been
Any
pretty,
questions for him?
no, the biggest effect on these is the complaints, we just don't get any. Because they all know it's recorded, the incident was recorded, so we
You get the
really.
blinky light.
Yeah.
So
That's
We wanted a system that was completely visible, not, like Manchester had got some, they're switching now, but we're behind the shirts and there's just a hole in the shirt. We want you to know you're being recorded.
Yeah, it's right there.
Because it modifies the behavior, it makes it safer for the person, makes it safer for the officer. Because they're hesitant to do something that, they wouldn't do when it's no camera, they would do with no camera.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty effective, it's been pretty good.
I will say too that Axis is very open to suggestions. And I made a couple suggestions and the response was, well, we'll talk to the engineers. The next thing you know, they're integrating
They've
a
changed.
suggestion into the next flash
They
update.
changed it so we could double tap it to turn it on instead of single tap, so if you hit it by accident, it would come on. There's a bunch of stuff. You changed like 5 or 6 things that we asked them to change and the company did.
Yeah, so very, very good customer service.
And there's no other cost now that you're using the cloud, so you purchase it and it's there.
It could be cost later on. They've come up with additional goodies like they have a sensor, so if you open your car door, the camera will pop on. Or if you pull your gun out of the holster, the camera will come on. But it's kind of like a cafeteria deal now where you just pick and choose what you like. So.
Right, eventually we're gonna have to replace this version of the cameras as well.
Updated version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some expense, but it's not as a,
Yeah.
use the cloud thing, it's a huge expense.
All the
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're,
Yeah, which you would if you were a bit busier, like you in Manchester, I don't see how you'd get around it.
It's so much
oh,
easier just
Manchester,
send them a link.
that's so many body cams.
Yeah, you'd have to, but
Yeah.
we're small enough where,
But they probably have, what, 50, 60? I mean, am I wrong? How many?
probably a shift, there's 350 officers.
Oh,
roughly.
100 a shift?
Yes,
Yeah.
say, 100 a shift, or right around there, maybe not so many in the midnight shift, but.
I'm not even sure the devices are assigned specifically to one officer, or if it's just
I
a
think they
gang.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, you think the 2 for part-timers is enough, or should we expand that to 3 at some point?
Probably at some point you'd expand it, but right now I think we're doing.
Yeah, it's
I mean, if we ever get 1 or 2 new expanded units, we could always
Add in.
add,
the older ones,
take
right. That's a
the
good
2
idea.
that you're replacing
Yeah.
and have it for backup for if you had more
Yeah.
than 2 part-timers working.
They have a new system too where they use RFID tags. So you
nice.
could have 8 cameras. You just come in, hit the thing with the RFID
You have to turn
tag,
it on with your car.
Wow.
and then it pairs.
Yeah.
So then you have that one. But
But if you come from your house, that kind of thing, that you have to have a camera, so we've been working on, it's been pretty good. So
Good,
guys
fantastic.
can go to a detail, or can go to a call from their house, like the K-9 officers got called in.
Yeah.
He already has his camera and stuff with him at home.
Yeah, he's already got it.
and if you have your own stuff, you take better care of it. That's why our computers last so long, is because they don't come out of the car at all.
That's right.
That's where they stay, and that's where they're accountable to.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, it's been good.
Very nice presentation,
Sure.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking about it.
Okay, before I adjourn, do we have any other business anyone wants to discuss? Okay, then I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn at 7:29 PM.
Second.
Okay,